Hey everybody, it's Liz Barton, Ambassador Diamond with It Works, and I'm excited to be on this call with all of you tonight. We've got distributors, executives, and rubies that we are focusing this little video hangout slash coaching call towards. Gabe is going to be joining me here in just a second, and so we are still kind of in that process of getting some kids to bed tonight. So some of you parents kind of know how that goes, right? So some of the things that we want to cover tonight for you newbies is just basically on how to get what you're doing for your business, for your It Works business, what you're doing to make that something that is consistent. Everything that we do, consistency is going to be key to your success. And these are maybe going to be new actions that you haven't been using or you haven't been doing on a regular basis because either you have been a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home dad, or you have been working a different job full-time, 9 to 5, or even part-time hours. But some of the things that we do for It Works, like posting on Facebook regularly, recruiting, coaching, training, new distributors, those things that we are not used to doing, and we're not used to doing them consistently. And we want to talk about some of those things tonight. So, Gabe, you ready? Okay, I'm going to bring Gabe on, and I want to just add, we haven't rehearsed this by any means, but if you can take us back 4 years when we had started this business, and what were some of the things that you saw me doing consistently that I did, as a distributor, as an executive, as a Ruby. When I started, it would be 4 years in January, but we had a Ruby bonus that we got what was it? Was it $500?
I don't think they had the Ruby bonus.
There was something. There was something Ruby. God, I don't even remember. But
it was a long time ago.
It was almost a long time ago. But that we did it, and we had 30 days to do so. So we didn't have the 2 full calendar months like they do now. So you guys are really lucky. We had 30 days to get to Ruby, and I didn't know anything different. My sponsor said, Lori Conway, get to Ruby in 30 days. And I said, okay, so if you can remember back that far, what were some of those things that I was actively doing in those 30 days to get to that point?
I remember pretty specifically when Liz got going. I think it's important, especially right now, as we're kind of going through, a little bit of this growth spurt, especially with, some of the things that are on back order and everything like that. You just have to remember to stay positive. And, I remember watching Liz, she taught all day long. We got our kids up and got them going to daycare, and then her and I went to work from 8 o'clock in the morning, and, we're getting home at 5, 6 o'clock at night, and we were tired. We're just like everybody else. But that was the time that Liz turned on the afterburners, and, she got out there and she was positive, always positive. And that was one of the biggest things I remember about her is it didn't matter what was going on. We were of course stressed out at home. We were stressed out because we were getting no sleep. But she went out and she was always positive about the company and the business and what she saw as far as the vision. Lori, who is Liz's direct upline, really kind of put that vision of what It Works was going to be into her mind right away. And Liz kind of caught hold of that vision and just went out and did it. There were times when she didn't have wraps, but she's still talking to people about, I don't have any right now, but as soon as I get some, I'll follow up with you and I'll be back and I'll bring you a wrap and you can try it. So just remember.
One second. When we started, we had a big wrap shortage, a huge wrap shortage. They weren't able to make them fast enough that we could sell them and get them out and get them on bellies. Because something that I was taught was if I got wraps on bellies, that I would be successful. I would turn people into believers if I could get these wraps on bellies. And so we had to find ways to build a business without wraps because they weren't coming in as fast as that we needed them to. But okay, keep going. So what other things were I doing? I was working at night. I was on my computer, probably posting on Facebook, coaching my team.
Again, I remember specifically, I always made a joke because, once we started winding down for the evening, of course, Liz was always winding down later than I because I am not really a night owl like she is. But, once we got in bed, I was falling asleep to the glow of the MacBook. And I would tell people at meetings that I was always falling asleep to the glow of the MacBook. And I would after I kind of fell asleep, I would wake back up and Liz is still working on her computer. And I would say, hey, it's time to shut that thing down. You got to have some sleep. You need energy for your own kids. You need energy for 25 other kids that you're getting ready to teach tomorrow, to give them your all. So she would shut her computer down, and then I would kind of roll over 15, 20 minutes later. I'd look back over, and now she's got her phone. So it's like she was shutting down her computer only to pick up her phone and trick herself to maybe just, two more messages.
I'm sure a lot of them can relate. And I think like to be specific with that, yes, he saw a lot of the glow of the computer and the cell phone, like underneath the sheets, working. But what was I doing during that? I was messaging random people. I would scroll through my newsfeed and I was working that entire time. I never would, and I still to this day don't scroll through newsfeed just to look. I am working that whole time. So I am looking for somebody that comes to mind, somebody that maybe God lays on my heart. And I'm like, oh yes, like this business could really impact them, or they would be awesome. They would be such a good runner on my team. And so then I would send them a personal message. Now, here's how I would design that personal message. I would click on their Facebook and I would kind of scroll through the first couple of photos because I want to see, I don't want to see like that they're sick. And then I send them a message, hey, how are you? Because then it looks like I'm clearly not interested in what their lives are all about. So I scroll on their newsfeed and I check the first couple of photos or the first couple of posts and just curious to know what's going on. Then I make that first sentence, hey, and I address them by name. Just scrolled across in my newsfeed and saw your recent picture or saw your last post. Your kids are so cute, or hope your school year is going well, or whatever it could be that I could relate to them personally. And then I say, I'm not sure if you've seen any of my posts on Facebook, because let me tell you, I'm posting at least 2 to 3 times a day about It Works, or about like us, and then about It Works with us, like, oh, we're taking our greens, or hey, we're getting healthy, or I'm so excited to be making extra money. I'm posting 2 or 3 times a day on that stuff. And so I would say in these messages, hey, whatever, hope your kids are cute, whatever. And then I would say, not sure if you've seen my It Works post or not, but didn't know if you had any questions or have considered it. Would love to see you on my team or even as a customer. I would leave it very open-ended. I would not put my website at that point. I was being a friend to a friend, because I think when we lay it all out there in the beginning, we're like, I would love for you to be a loyal customer. A loyal customer gets 40% off my wholesale prices, and here's my website. You have crossed that friend line. You are now the businesswoman, and they're looking at that message like, ooh, yikes. They might click on it, but they probably won't. So be that friend to friend while you're messaging them. Show your character, like show that you are caring about them. You really honestly think that this would be a good opportunity for them or good products for them. So that's kind of like the messages that I would constantly be sending. And then there's a balance between, for some of you that are executives and Rubies on here, you guys have teammates now, you have team members. And so there's a balance between recruiting is number one in my book, always. I'm always finding new, because what I see is those people that sign up, they're going to do it or they're not going to do it, and we've seen that through our business the last almost 4 years. They literally, those people come into your business or your organization and they either run with it or they don't do anything. Or maybe they bought a kit and you never hear from them again. Like, we seriously have had those people. But that's go back to my recruitment is number one. But number two, once you do have a team, you're going to start wanting to build relationships with them and help them answer those questions. There's a lot to learn in the beginning of this. That's why we do these coaching calls. That's why we do these online parties. There's a lot of stuff. And we want to inspire you. We want to motivate you. We want to be there to answer your questions. And I want you guys to be there to your new distributors and your new executives, because they're just starting out. And that is when energy is high. I think that's when momentum is at its finest in those beginning stages. So, when you have somebody getting their 4 loyal customers, getting their free product credit, gosh, go after them. That's your runner. That's your runner, because they literally got signed up. Their kit might not even be in the mail yet. They haven't even gotten it yet, and they're going to work. They're going to town. They're just constantly messaging people, getting the word out there. So Gabe, talk a little bit about like wrap parties and events and stuff that I was doing early on too to build my business and my network. Do you remember back then?
Yeah. It's weird. I remember things from 4 years ago, but I can't remember what I did 4 days ago. Yeah, I remember in the beginning, I mean, wrap parties were a huge part of Liz's momentum. I mean, there's no shame in calling your friends and, saying, hey, I'm into this new business. I want you to, do me a favor and let me have a wrap party. Your friends know people that you don't know, always. Calling favors to your family, that's what they're there for, basically. I'm sure that every single one of you has either been to a Tupperware party, a Clever Container party, whatever,
there's all these
something
parties.
that you guys have done before. Help your friends, whoever you went to that party, help them remember that. Say, hey, you remember back in the day when, I came to your house for that jewelry party that you had and wasn't really looking to buy anything, but I ended up finding something that I liked. Would you return that favor to me? And would you help me host a wrap party? Because Liz did generate a ton of interest. Liz is a kind of a passionate person anyway, and they could see the energy that she had for this business. So I think she got a lot of interest because of that. But, she was pounding the pavement. I mean, she went out there. I remember her pulling her little cart, running out the door to do some of her parties. And I kind of chuckled. But you could just tell she was excited. And that was, I think, her number one reason why she had the momentum she did in the beginning, because I know that she was tired. I mean, she's operating on very little sleep, but you could not tell when she was walking out that door with her kit. She just didn't let it show because she had so much excitement and she knew what she wanted with this business. She had a purpose and she had a goal, and she knew she was going to have to work hard to get there. So, there are things that you're going to have to do to get out of your comfort zone. Not everybody is the party mentality. Not everybody's going to want to throw parties. But again, it's a great way to get other people exposed that not necessarily are going to follow you on Facebook or anything like that. Let's be honest. I've had people unfriend me because of the things I posted about my business on Facebook. That's fine. I'm not going to dislike them for that reason. They just don't want to see it. But there are also going to be people that see it that are intrigued, and it happens all the time, especially now with, some of the things that Liz posts, and, people are just curious. They're following this journey. They saw us in the beginning when it was, just a quest to get a couple $100 extra a month. So they've watched from that point to the point that we are now. And they're intrigued, and, they're looking at her saying, heck, if she can do it, why can't I do it? So I think it's her passion. It's her energy. Even if you gotta, talk yourself into it, because I know she's tired, just like I'm tired. Even if you got to talk yourself into it and pretend that you're not tired, walk in there with as much energy as you can.
I feel like you said you're tired like 15 times. Well, do you need to go to bed?
Maybe I need to go. Like I said, I require a lot more sleep than Liz does.
Okay, one thing I want to backtrack on that. I don't like doing parties. Can I say that on here? It is out of a comfort zone. I don't mind talking in front of people, but parties isn't like my comfort zone. I did them because I had a goal in mind. I still do them because I feel like I do a lot less of them, to be honest now. But I still, if somebody is interested in wrapping, I always give that as an option, because I always let my hostess wrap for free if she had at least 5 other people there. One of my best party tips I can tell you is I'm going to give you 2. 1, fake it till you make it. I went in there, I acted confident, even though I wasn't always confident in the beginning. I didn't know what I was doing. I had the party pad and I just followed through it. And I literally read the party pad notes because those were in the document section of the eSuite. And I was like, this is awesome. You guys are going to love this. And in the back of my head, I'm like, I hope they love this because I was new and I wanted them to love it because I saw the success that others were having in this business. And I knew if it worked for them, then it could work for me. Just like Gabe was telling you, if it works for us, it's going to work for you. The same thing. So yeah, fake it till you make it and walk in there with confidence. You know, be excited, be passionate about this company and about these products. And I think you can be very honest and be like, I don't know everything, but I will find out.
I have one more thing to add too, as far as the parties go, and with this entire business. I love to read. I'm a reader, and I read a lot of industry books. I read a lot of the self-help books, motivational books. And the common theme that I found in all these books, believe it or not, is people want to be told what to do. You know, they don't want to have to make a decision on their own. And so I've heard numerous people, you know, Cami is a perfect example of this. I've heard, you know, Lori is a good example of this. They want to be told to do what to do. And so on those parties, you walk in there, don't give them the option. You say, okay, you know, we've gone through this. You know, what's your choice now? What are you going to do? Are you going to be a loyal customer and use our products and you know, learn how awesome they are? Or do you want to try the business end of it? You know, and
I get two options.
And I know that sounds crazy, but believe it or not, you've got these people that are industry experts. I read this in about every single book that I read, and I highlight it and I show it to Liz. And you know,
I'm not a good reader.
It sounds crazy, but that's the theme. People want to be told what to do. We don't want to have to make our own decisions, especially on the spot. And so that's a tactic that works. I know it feels uncomfortable at first, but trust me, the more you do it, the easier it comes. Pretty soon it's just going to roll right off your tongue. You're not even going to give them time to think about it. You're just going to say, okay, what do you want? Do you want this? Do you want this? I already have your paperwork filled out. There you go. So
okay, so with that, when I am talking with a potential, I give them those options. They get two options. Do you want to be a loyal customer and try the products at wholesale cost and do a 90-day challenge with me? Or do you want to be a distributor and make some money and you still get the same discount on the products? I give them those options in a message. If I am meeting with somebody, a one-on-one appointment, either a wrap appointment because I want them to try a wrap, I bring with me a loyal customer order form, a distributor order form, and a party pad and a wrap because I show them both. I have a little clipboard that I keep it on. And I give that to them and I lay that out in front of them. I'm like, we have two options. You're going to love the wrap. You're going to love your results. So you can either get the products at wholesale cost as a loyal customer, you can sign up as a distributor. And I highlight on the loyal customer and distributor form the places that they need to fill out. If I do a party, I have clipboards. I bought enough clipboards. I think I have like 5. But on the clipboard, I put a loyal customer, a distributor form. You can find those. I think we have them in the file section in our team pages and then also in the document section in eSuite. And then I did buy a set of party pads because I wanted one for each person. And my little saying at the end is, if you sign up to be a distributor tonight, I want you to keep that party pad. If you signed up as a loyal customer tonight, I'm going to have you go ahead and give me that party pad back so we can continue to reuse those at different parties. So I have them labeled and I give them to new distributors, but I also, I take them back. So I reuse them at all my other parties. But that way I found the uncomfortableness of a party is they're not looking at me, they're following along in the party pad. And that makes me feel better too. And I think that makes me just more confident when I'm talking to them because I'm like, okay, turn the page. We're on to the next part. You know, and I always like, you come to that page I should have a party pad in front of me, but you come to the page where it has the income charts. And if you don't feel like for me as an ambassador diamond, if I'm standing in front of a group of people, I hate to say I'm making this because that is so unrealistic in the beginning. So you guys on the call, you executives, distributors, and rubies, you're probably looking at that ambassador level and be like, oh my gosh, there's no way, right? Most people don't get into this business to get to that point. They get into this business for $300 to $500 a month. That's why we started it when we did. We thought $300 to $500 a month would be huge, and that would be such a huge help. So I lead at that point. I'm like, when I started, that's where my story goes. When I started, I wanted to make $300 to $500 a month. And then this is where That's a Ruby. That's basically between an executive and a Ruby. And it's not as hard as people think. I think they have to have this huge network of people. You're probably thinking that. You don't. You don't need a huge network. You do need to continue to build your network. So do you want to kind of touch base on building a network?
I will touch base on that, but I want to say one more thing as far as parties are concerned, and if people are getting out there and doing parties. I think it's really, really important to know kind of your audience when you go in there. And by that, I mean, you're going to have the younger generation that if they decide to jump on board with this business, whether that's going to be the business side of it or the product side of it, they're going to probably be more comfortable, on your computer, more savvy, signing up, doing everything electronically.
Instagram.
Versus, I use my dad as an example. He's an old school guy. He's a business owner. And he still does not use a computer. He hardly knows what email is. He does everything pencil and paper just because that's the way his brain operates. And so, if you're walking into a room that may have some older generation folks in there, just
old generation folks,
old school, like, that aren't like, I'm not as savvy as Liz on technology. But just make sure you are there and helping them. They're probably more comfortable with a physical form to fill out. They're probably more comfortable with you sitting down and helping them through that process, because I know people can get frustrated if something's not working right. There's the computer, punchers with their fingers and they can't get through it fast enough.
Okay, so here's why I use paper. I use paper on everyone, mostly. If it's a one-on-one, I'll say, here, go ahead and use my phone or my laptop. The reason why I use paper is because they can all start filling it out. I a lot of the times have people start filling out the top portion when they get there, no matter what. I'm like, hey, welcome to the party. If you would just go ahead and fill out your name and email and telephone number. That way, when I have everybody turn them in at the end, and that part is already done, so I have their follow-up information. So if they end up, let's say, not ordering that night, that's okay. I still collect those and I still have them fill out the top part of that information. And I think it covers a lot more people. If you're passing around a laptop or you're giving instructions on how to do it through the cell phone, it's a lot slower and people get stuck and then they quit. If they just do it paper, if you are doing it in a group, just do paper, pencil, do the loyal customer order forms. I think it's so much easier. One thing I do that I wanted to point out too, we were going to go back on building a network, but we'll go back on that. Hold on. For parties, I'll be like, hey, who has their cell phone with them? Everybody pull it out. I have a little game, and I might have like a pen or piece of paper or like Post-its or something to pass out as something fun. But I'm like, okay, what I want you to do is I want you to find me on Facebook, find Liz Barton, and friend me. Okay, great, thanks. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to post a status that you are at a wrap party with all of your friends, and I want you to tag 10 people, and the person with the most likes at the end of the party is going to get a prize. And so I do this, and I pull out something. It can be like, people love like dollar store picture frames or like a little journal. I try to buy everything black and green so they remember our colors. But I do this because if they're posting on Facebook about a wrap party and they might get some questions, I have them tag me because now we're friends, we're Facebook friends. And then I also have them tag 10 people. People might be like, what is a wrap party? Or where are you at? Or let me know how that goes. Those questions are going to generate conversation. And when the end of the night, I'm like, okay, who got 5 likes? Raise your hand. Who got 10? I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys, you got 10 likes already? And it was just 30 minutes. Do you know what that means? You have 10 people already that are curious and interested about It Works. So you should think about being a distributor. So it is a way, in a large group of people, that I get them connected to me on Facebook. I get them connected to their network of people by tagging me in it, and I can go in and help answer questions. And then I do the whole paper pencil thing because I collect all of those at the end, and then I can enter all of that information, and I have all their information. Okay, building a network.
All right, back to the question. What was the question?
How do we build a network? Let's say we have 500 Facebook friends.
Here's how.
What do we do?
Here's how I like to think of my networks. This social media phenomenon has just ignited the ability to be able to connect with people that you not necessarily could have 10 years ago. friends from elementary school, friends from middle school, high school, college, on up. 10 years ago, people weren't able to do that. And so when I think of network, I think of those different seasons of life, basically. I have friended folks that I've lost contact with, that I was able to find through Facebook, through all that stuff, started conversations with them. And I never lead off with any sort of business opportunity. It goes back to what Liz was saying, is you got to be intentional, and you got to reconnect, on the friend level first before any of that even comes up in your conversation. Yep. And so, if there's a big tip that you take away, especially for new folks that you're targeting, never ever lead with the business opportunity if you're trying to reconnect with them. And so I think of that, like I've found friends from long ago. I've gone back to my college friends, and everybody, I'm sure if you went to college, you had roommates that were from different parts of the state or parts of the country that you've probably connected with their friends. Think of that season of your life. I think of my first job out of college and some of the folks that I still continue to follow on Facebook and comment on their stuff and like on their stuff.
Which is all intentional. Let's point that out too.
Very, very intentional. And, there's no better person to talk about that stuff than John Eric and all the social media stuff. If you're not having a conversation with them and you're not trying to be their friend first, they don't want anything to do with you. They don't want to see all of your whoopee, look at me, look what we're doing now, look what we're doing today. They want to be your friend, and they want you to be their friend first. And then they might want to learn about it. They want to do the adventure with you. And then they're going to start getting intrigued about what are they doing that I'm not doing that allows them the opportunity to be in this part of the country and see these people, be in this part of the country and do this. So again, with the networks, there's different seasons of your life that you have to go back and just think about as different segments. And, oh my gosh, I could reach out to these people who in turn could probably reach out to their group of folks. And I think Liz and I did, Liz didn't have 5,000 friends before this business started.
But I do now.
But Liz has 5,000 friends now. And so that's her new network. She didn't start out with that. It grew over time. Constantly
adding new people. And I think that's what keeps our business growing, is finding new friends, making new friends. That should be your business plan, adding to that network of people. And same for when you're recruiting, if that's one of their excuses, let's say, or their reasons for not jumping in this, be like, you know what? I didn't have a big network either. And I am still doing this and making it happen. Another thing, when we get on Facebook, and I want to talk about little algorithms real quick, when you're liking and commenting on other people's stuff, then your stuff is going to pull up in their newsfeed. And so one of the biggest things or aha moments when I get a message from a new distributor saying, okay, I'm within my first 30 days and I haven't got my 4 loyal customers. I feel like I'm struggling a little bit, or if I even hear that word struggle, I click on their Facebook. I want to see what they've got going on. I want to see what they're posting. Are they posting 2 to 3 times a day about It Works? Are they being intentional and personable? Are they putting a status that people want to read? Or is it complaining? Or, another thing is that if somebody goes to like a website or a page and then they think something's funny and then they share it to their personal page and it has a shared post, shared post, shared post, shared post, you will not get any views, any likes, or any comments. And trust me, like that's one of the things that I see a lot. If someone says that I'm having a hard time getting some of my customers, or I'm having a hard time recruiting a distributor, if I click on their Facebook and it has shared post, shared post, shared post, shared post, you're not getting any views. People are not going to look at that and see it. You need to post your own stuff. Save the image, learn to save the image, or download it or whatever you need to do and post it as yours. People are going to respond better if you are drinking your greens versus posting the like little picture ad of the greens. Do you know what I mean? Or a picture of you drinking the greens next to the picture. They like to see people in pictures. And so if you have not yet did the John Eric social media, gosh, I can't tell you. I know it's more money that maybe you're not ready to spend, but if you could, just do it, because it literally has changed social media for us. It has awesome information about Instagram. Instagram, I'm starting to learn and use more lately. But you can friend, follow, request, follow, request, follow, request, so many a day. And that's network. And on Instagram, that's socially acceptable. You can follow and request people you don't even know just to follow them. And people will do it back to you, and they want to see your stuff. So be posting on that and following and requesting those people. And so I think just making your life exciting, like taking the little moments and thinking like, could I make a picture out of this, or could I make a post out of this? Always having that on the forefront of your mind. For those of you that are working full-time jobs too, which are probably a lot of you just starting out, your time to work this is when you first wake up in the morning. Think about what could you post, or whose messages could you answer. If you have a lunch break, definitely get on then on your smartphone or your computer, answer messages, respond to people, and make a post. And then in the evenings, either when you get home, or if you're depending on your ages of your kids, my work time a lot of the times are after my kids go to bed. And so that is my chunk of time to send out majority of messages, and then I can spend the next morning and afternoon responding to. When I left my teaching job, I thought honestly I would have the entire day to myself to work, and that's not realistic. We still, we didn't, when we left our jobs, we left at the same time. Gabe left a little bit before me, but we still had 2 full-time kids at home, and so it wasn't like we got to work the business all day long. It was full-time parents all day long, and then squeezing the It Work stuff in on top of that. And so, I know you can do it if you're still working full-time. Trust me, been there, did that, all the way to ambassador. I worked full-time.
I have something to add that I still remember vividly from when we first got started.
For 5 minutes over, but that's okay.
That's all right. We're gonna keep going. So very, very important tonight, especially. Like if you guys can get off of this call tonight, make your 100 list. Who am I going to contact tonight? I've listened to this call. I've probably been chatting with some people back and forth. I've got some energy. I've got some desire. Make your hundreds list tonight. Who am I going to talk to? Also, one thing I remember vividly is making a chicken list. And by chicken list, I mean those are the folks that you're scared to send a message to because you think they're going to
you're weird,
make fun of you, look down upon you, badmouth you, whatever. Make yourself do that chicken list and send it out. It's just a message. You can easily sit behind a computer and send a message out and just forget it's gone. It's boom, it went through, you're done. We can't guarantee that.
Sweat a little bit.
Yeah, you can't guarantee that you're going to get any response from it, but at least you've given yourself the opportunity, and at least you've pushed yourself outside of that comfort zone, and you're going to start getting practice with, some people may not view this as a traditional business, but the more I keep working at this, the more I keep forcing myself outside of that comfort zone, the more you're going to become more comfortable with it, the more you're just going to think, this is my job. This is what I do. This is how I make money. Nobody else is going to pay my bills. I'm going to put food on the table for my family. This is the way I'm going to do it. That's the end. You don't like it? Fine. Don't follow me. But, we're doing pretty good at it, so I think I'm going to keep doing it. So don't let anybody else get you down. Don't let anybody else get in your kitchen.
You have to stay laser focused, like you have your goals in mind and where you want to go with that. And you can't care about what these people think out here of you. You just keep a smile on your face and say, I love these products. I love this business, and keep it laser focused. Okay, one last quick tip that I'm going to leave you with is a lot of leaders within my organization and either sideline leaders. One thing that I know that they do is either on, like he was talking about, on that hundreds list, that you are making notes next to each person that you're contacting, like of when you contacted them, when to contact them again, what they said. Maybe they don't have $99 and they need to try to pre-sell 4 wraps. Write pre-sale next to their name, and then you can go back to them. Or they're going to try a Facebook post to see if they can get anybody interested. Write that next to their name, and you can go back to them. Keep yourself organized when it comes to this, because I promise you this will increase the number that you're recruiting, whether it's loyal customers or distributors. I can't say that I'm organized, but I keep a list, and I have like sheets all over.
Fill up your whatever smartphone, whatever device you have. Fill up your calendar. Today at 9:15, stick a note on there that I talked to John Smith, and then 3 days from now, put a reminder on your calendar. It's been 3 days since I've talked to John Smith. I have not heard back from him. I'm going to follow up with him.
I'm going to show you my calendar. I don't know if you're not going to be able to see this. Oh, shoot. Okay, so like tomorrow, I put it in my calendar to ask Stacy about what she wants to order for the next month. And then on Thursday, I have check-in with Blanca, a loyal customer, of what she wants to order the following month. I keep these in my phone. Ask Giovanna what she wants to order. I keep these in my phone because then it keeps me connected to my loyal customers, and I have it set on repeat every month. And so I'm like, hey, I check back the messages. How are those greens? I'm so excited. Are you using them every day? Are you staying consistent? Taking before and after pictures? What are we going to get next month? If I am keeping up with them, I could turn them into a distributor. They could be somebody to join my team. So that's how I stay organized with my loyal customers in my phone. And then I have lists everywhere by the month of when I'm talking to potentials. And then when they decide to join the team, then I cross off their name and they get added to another list of follow-up. And so I know you guys are early in the stages of how many are on your team, being distributors, executives, and rubies, but lists are important to keep you organized. Potentials list, loyal customers in your calendar, and then who's on your team that you can follow up with. And keeping a good balance is hard, you guys. But you know what? It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. We've had a lot of fun along the way coaching you guys, coaching newbies, and then you newbies turn into leaders, and then we have fun coaching those leaders, and then those leaders, you as new leaders, will be coaching your newbies. And so it's just a circle of fun. And lots of money. So, okay, thanks so much for joining us. We went a little bit over. This was recorded and can be found on my YouTube channel. So if you search Liz Barton on YouTube or Skinny Wrapping Girls, you will be able to find it and can send the link out. So hopefully you found some helpful tips. I would love for you to go back to the post on the team page and put an aha moment so we can kind of see what you got from it tonight. So thank you, everybody, and we hope you have a great evening.
Thanks, guys. Good night.